Antarctica, a continent of silence, wind, and ice. But beneath that silence, something is shifting. In 2006, satellites detected a strange gravitational disturbance. Not a crater, not magma, but a massive, dense object buried deep beneath Wilkes Land. Over time, the ice above it began to rise. Signals pulsed outward. And then came the tremors. No fault lines, no volcanic heat, just force, deliberate, rhythmic, rising from below. Now, stations have gone dark, private satellites deorbited, and governments have stopped explaining. Because this isn't just a buried rock. This may be a machine, older than civilization, older than mankind, and it's no longer sleeping. In 2006, two NASA satellites silently glided over Antarctica. Their mission was simple: measure gravity. But what they found beneath the East Antarctic ice sheet was anything but simple. A massive gravitational anomaly, 300 miles wide. Not ice, not rock, something buried, and far too heavy. And the signal it gave off is still changing. In March of 2006, scientists from NASA and the German Aerospace Center released a quiet report buried in technical language. The Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment, known simply as GRACE, had completed a sweep of Antarctica's deepest regions. What it revealed would become one of the most perplexing discoveries in geophysical science. Beneath the ice of East Antarctica, under a region called Wilkes Land, satellite data showed something was wrong. Gravity, the subtle tug of mass, was warped. It dipped sharply, then surged. A gravitational anomaly 300 miles wide and nearly a mile deep. It shouldn't be there. The anomaly was so massive that it altered satellite orbits by measurable degrees. Something was exerting force beneath the ice, and whatever it was, it had no known geological explanation. Dr. Ralph von Fraese, a geophysicist at Ohio State University, would later say, "This is not a normal geologic feature. This is something different. This is a massive mass concentration, something with structure." The data suggested a density and composition unlike bedrock or sediment, a compact, high-mass object, deep under ice that's been stable for over 400,000 years. Some believed it was the remnant of a long-forgotten meteorite, a crater, frozen and buried over eons. Others weren't so sure, because there was no impact zone, no ejecta, no magnetic debris, just mass and silence. It was as if something had been placed there, deliberately. In the months that followed, further passes over the anomaly revealed something else. A strange distortion in the magnetic field above Wilkes Land, a kind of interference, subtle but repeatable. Pilots reported instrumentation hiccups when flying near the coordinates. One Australian survey aircraft in 2009 experienced a momentary loss of GPS signal, followed by what was described in the pilot's log as compass instability. Then came the temperature data. Beneath the ice, deep penetrating radar and infrared analysis revealed something unexpected: a localized zone of anomalous warmth. Roughly circular in shape, centered over the gravitational anomaly. It was as if something down there was generating heat, but how and why? When asked about the possibility of geologic activity, one researcher responded bluntly, "There are no volcanoes in Wilkes Land, no magma, nothing that should be producing heat." And yet, the heat remained, subtle, localized, consistent, a circular warm zone, a dense gravitational anomaly, a magnetic ripple, all in the same place. It was the kind of convergence that shouldn't happen, not by chance, not in nature. And so the question began to circulate, first in closed academic meetings, then on dark web forums, then in the feverish world of conspiracy theory. What is buried beneath Wilkes Land? And is it still dormant or slowly waking up? By 2010, the scientific community had largely settled on a theory to explain the Wilkes Land gravity anomaly, a giant impact crater buried beneath kilometers of ancient ice. But there was a problem. There was no crater, no clear rim, no melt basin, no geologic uplift, just a circular mass and heat. Dr. Stephen Meyer, a planetary geologist at the University of Queensland, put it bluntly: "If it's an impact site, it's the cleanest, most surgically removed crater I've ever seen. It's like the Earth swallowed the object and healed around it." Radar penetrations showed something even more disturbing. The anomaly had depth symmetry. It wasn't a random bulge or irregular intrusion. It curved downward, hemispherically, like a dome, or the top of a buried sphere. Even stranger, radar reflected off internal layers, something impact craters don't produce. This suggested material boundaries inside the mass, in other words, structure. Speculative papers, later retracted, modeled the anomaly as a subsurface lattice. Privately, researchers called it the object. Some even proposed artificiality, phrased cautiously as non-geologic symmetry. Still others suggested the object wasn't just buried, it had been embedded, intentionally. They pointed to the lack of deformation in surrounding layers. The object hadn't slammed into the crust, it had been placed, precisely. A leaked aerospace presentation in 2013 made a shocking claim. The anomaly's electromagnetic signature fluctuated seasonally, peaking at the summer solstice. Microwave scans revealed surges of internal heat every December 21st. It was as if the mass were reacting to the sun. Some began to ask, was this a remnant of something ancient, or was it still operational? Radar, gravity, heat, symmetry, what they were describing wasn't a crater. It sounded more like a machine, and machines by nature do something. What was this one built for? And who had buried it there? In 1938, the Nazi ship Schwabenland sailed for Antarctica. Its mission, officially, whaling and exploration. But historians have long suspected something else. They weren't there to hunt, they were searching. Nazi planes dropped swastika-stamped flags over hundreds of miles of Wilkes Land, photographed vast inland glaciers, and mapped deep valleys, not far from the coordinates of the anomaly. They named the region Neuschwabenland. According to post-war intelligence, the Third Reich believed ancient secrets were buried in the polar ice, remnants of a lost technology. British intelligence files reference whispers of a hidden facility, Base 211, said to house advanced experiments in fleeing Nazi elites. In 1947, the U.S. launched Operation High Jump, 4,000 personnel, 13 ships, aircraft carriers. Publicly, cold weather training. Privately, a reconnaissance mission toward Wilkes Land. It ended abruptly, with losses, crashes, silence. Soviet documents later revealed that the USSR was watching the same region. They logged unusual magnetic returns and flight path interference. One phrase appeared in a 1958 report: the structure is alive. Did the Nazis find the anomaly first? Did they build around it? Did they awaken it? Some believe remnants of Base 211 remain buried to this day, carved into the ice, shielded from satellites, guarding a presence far older than the Reich itself. Go to Google Earth, zoom in on 70 degrees south, 100 degrees east, and watch the terrain vanish. Users began noticing as early as 2015, sections of East Antarctica appear blurred, whitewashed, or loop-textured. Some screenshots showed strange patterns, arches, grids, even machinery-like outlines. They vanished within days. Private satellite providers like Planet Labs won't explain why high-res imaging is unavailable for Wilkes Land. Internal emails leaked in 2021 revealed one reason: withhold imagery per multinational coordination request. Which nations requested that? No answer. Pilots have also reported being diverted near Wilkes Land. Civilian aircraft are rerouted, weather balloons blocked, drone permits denied. The reason? Climate hazard. But Wilkes Land is one of the most stable regions on the continent. What's the real hazard? What don't they want you to see? When silence surrounds a place this intensely, you're not dealing with nothing. You're dealing with something no one is allowed to name. In 2022, the ice above the anomaly shifted. Seismic stations recorded harmonic tremors, slow, rhythmic, repeating. Then, infrasound, too deep to hear, but powerful enough to shake the ice. It came from Wilkes Land. A group of amateur radio astronomers in Argentina picked up the pulse, and then another one, a reply, from space, from a silent patch of sky near the southern celestial pole. Same frequency, same shape, inverted. Then, nothing. Their servers were seized, their data erased. Only one line survived: it heard us. Meanwhile, satellites showed something worse. The ice above the anomaly was lifting, rising, not melting, as if something was pushing upward. Not magma, no volcanoes, no fault lines, just force, radial, perfect, from below. By 2023, all data feeds from Antarctic weather stations near Wilkes Land went silent. China's Kunlun station entered maintenance mode. Private satellites were deorbited. Observation contracts canceled. Something had changed. And if the anomaly pulses, if the ice breathes, if the signal now moves through space, then it's not just ancient, not just buried, it's alive. And after hundreds of thousands of years, it's no longer sleeping. If this descent into Antarctica's hidden anomaly made you question what's really beneath the ice, click like and subscribe for more deep dive documentaries into the world's forbidden frontiers and forgotten truths. What do you think is buried in Wilkes Land? A relic? An ancient machine? Or something not of this earth? Leave your theory in the comments. We're watching. Thanks for joining us. This is Faded History.